Sometimes God lets your heart break so he can break you free. There were nights I cried myself to sleep, curled up in the dark, shaking and praying that the pain would stop. Nights where the person I loved the most, the one I begged for affection from, just turned away like my tears were invisible. They'd fall asleep so easily while I lay there, breaking apart inside. I remember so many times being okay in public, smiling like I was fine while silently falling apart. And the moment we got home, their face would change. The warmth that I felt in public would disappear when we got home. They'd look at me with disgust, like I was a burden instead of a blessing. The silence became its own weapon, punishment for simply needing to be loved. And that kind of pain changes you. It empties you. It teaches you how deep loneliness can feel when you're surrounded by somebody who doesn't even see your heart. After a while, something inside of you just breaks. You get tired of begging for peace in a place that only brings you pain. I became so anxiously attached to the relationship that I could barely be present in my own life. I couldn't even give my kids the best of me because there wasn't much left of me to give. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere. My whole mood depended on them. I was waiting for them to make me happy, to fix what they had broken, to love me the way that I loved them. But they never could. And the hardest part, they didn't want to. They would throw me breadcrumbs of affection, just enough to keep me hoping, just enough to make me stay. I was starving for love, but yet I was settling for crumbs, never realizing I was never gonna get the whole loaf of bread. And that's what emotional abuse does. It trains your brain to crave the highs and the lows. You start living for good moments, even though they're surrounded by pain. The confusion, the mood swings, the constant guessing, it's like emotional whiplash that leaves you drained. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, you start losing yourself. Now you begin to act out of survival, not love. You say things, you do things, and become things that you never thought you would. Because the toxicity changes you. It eats at your spirit until you barely recognize the person staring back at you in the mirror. And the loneliness goes even deeper because it's not just a relationship that isolates you. I started losing friends too, and even family. Lies were told. A narrative was created about me that I was the crazy one, that I was the problem. The abuser painted themselves as the victim, as the hero, while I was cast as the villain. And when I would try to talk about what I was going through, when I would try to reach out for help for my friends, they got upset with me. They didn't understand that I wasn't gossiping or trying to cause drama. I was crying out for help, for support, because I was so confused and I was so desperate for answers. But instead of compassion and understanding, I was met with some frustration. And it really hurt me because I thought that they would care. I thought they would listen. I thought they would have my back. Why were they angry towards me for speaking up, but yet silent towards the person who was breaking me down? Even in church, I was misunderstood. Pastors, leaders told me that I needed to repent, that I needed to actually be born again. All because I expressed my hurt and my anger. They said that I was bitter and that I was forgiving and that I was out of order. But they never asked me why I was hurting. So when me and the abuser would go in and ask for help, they monopolized so much on the conversation. By the time it was my turn to speak, the narrative was already created, and it was hard for me to even challenge that. My voice went dismissed before it was even heard. Felt like I couldn't even fight for my own case. And that's one of the most painful parts. When the very people you hope will help you turn against you. When you're made to feel like defending yourself is wrong. When all you wanted was to be seen and understood. Eventually I realized I couldn't heal in the same environment that was breaking me, so I left. I separated myself from the one that I thought I couldn't live my life without. Because honestly, staying was destroying my spirit. I had tried for years to fix it, to pray it better, to love harder. But healing doesn't happen in chaos. Sometimes the only way God can heal you is when you finally choose to walk away. And when I left, that's when real healing began. I started to learn. I started to educate myself about emotional abuse, trauma bonding, manipulation, boundaries, and what real love actually is. I started to see myself the way God sees me, not as broken or unworthy, but as chosen and deeply loved. He started to reveal truth after truth, that love shouldn't hurt and peace shouldn't feel like walking on eggshells. And what I thought was love was really bondage. And what I thought was the end of me was actually the beginning of my freedom. So if you're in that place right now, wondering how to get out, wondering if you can survive without them, you can. You don't have to stay where your spirit is dying. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to walk away and let God rebuild you from the ground up. Because on the other side of separation is peace, clarity, and a love that doesn't wound you,